We are in the great, great days of Revelation, a time in history that's been spoken of, been feared of, and anticipated with some form of great expectation from the heavens. We are part of this great unveiling. All truth must come forward, but with the truth there will be a million times the lies. This is the time where you wait for the law to decide what truth was. And you better use your intuition at this time. Learn to meditate 15 minutes a day just so you can center yourself and reach that inner connection so that you can know truth. Because all truth has to be unveiled now. All truth. No lie can get by with anything. But they're adding more and more lies every day just to try to take away from the truth that's coming out. And it's pretty pathetic, but that's the way it is. And we'll see as a people of a race of people, which is the human race. There is no other race here. Well, outside of maybe some, they talk about reptilians and, Anunnaki, but anyway, the human race is the point here, and it's the little people who's the human race. So I want you to know that you're not little. You're actually giants in little bodies. You're actually beautiful golden light beings, or a light worker, or a star seed. And basically, we're all star seeds. It doesn't matter which level you came from, but we're all star seeds, and we're all light beings. And now is the time of the great Christos awakening within us, which is in our spine. It's that oil that runs up our spine. And it's coming up to open up in our brain. We have a pineal gland, which it will awaken. It also goes through our heart and all our chakra systems and awakens all of that. So you'll be going through emotions, you'll be going through this and that, but you'll also be learning and feeling your intuition more and more every day, especially if you take 15 minutes a day just to deep breathe. Don't worry about thoughts or anything like that. If you have to, take your 5 senses and keep them busy with one thing. Listen to some music, focus on a candle. I like to close my eyes. But my spiritual gifts, I open anyway, third eye is already open, so it just, until you get to that point. But, your deep breathing, so that's your physical and your breath. And maybe burn some incense or your favorite candle with a scent. And don't just look at your own country. This is for all people of Earth. Look at other countries and see what's going on there and learn from them. Learn the positive things they're doing and see how that would affect your country. There are great moves in Africa being done where the Africans are actually standing up for their dignity and their intelligence and their land. And they're fighting the big corporations and the elite. And we're fighting them in our country here in the United States as well. I don't want the whole world to think that every American is like what the United States is acting like right now. We are not. We, too, are trying to figure out how to rebalance our country and take it back for the people. So, to Traor, and I'm going to mess it up, Burka, my hat is off to you, sir. Your leadership is something that should be honored and remembered in the history books from here to kingdom come. your ability to stay calm, know the facts, and be able to stand up to some of these horse asses is one of the finest jobs I've ever seen. And I'm not easy to please, and I'm not easy with any kind of that a boy. Matter of fact, I'm probably the opposite. So, well done. You give us all hope that even those of us that have been blind to the slavery that we have been in the United States and been taking a beating for the last 40 years will wake up and say, hey, you know, there is something more to us and us, you know. So I'm hoping that the whole world is seeing what you're doing and taking it into consideration about themselves. Do you have dignity? I'm asking Americans now because United States Americans. Do you have dignity in what we are doing right now? Can you honestly look in the mirror and look at yourself and say, I am a proud and I have dignity. I have pride in the human race. I have pride. Or is it just you have pride in yourself and that's it? You know, like the current powers that be. I'm asking because I need to know. I don't need to know. You need to know. But it's disheartening is what it is. I'm hoping we don't have to become a broken country to realize that we could have changed this really easily if we had just come together and stopped dividing ourselves and started giving a fuck about each other. I'm sorry, I wasn't going to cuss, but, shit happens. I'm impassioned about this. It is just how I feel, and I think others do too. But being in the times of the Great Revelation means that you have to take a personal responsibility now to go inward. The kingdom of heaven is inside. Our soul houses this physical form. It's on the outside, inside, but our seat is in our heart. You need to go inside, feel that heart, and ask super real questions, pertinent questions, so that you can become a active and conscious person to see the bigger picture and to see what we can do that would be better for all life on earth instead of just a handful of life on earth. And how better we could do for the earth herself. It isn't about ascending to something wonderful. It's about becoming that wonderful being that we are inside of ourselves, our true self, and becoming the example and becoming the leaders, the future leaders of this world so that it's for the greater good of all, not just some. And I think that we need to look at the last 40, 50 years in the United States and see where it all started falling apart. We were finally gaining strength because we were getting unions, we were getting the kids in school instead of in work farms and hellholes. And they could be educated and be better than us, you know, and then and the next generation could do better and the next generation. Now we're going backwards again. And I think that we need to ask ourselves, is this what we really want for our new world? When it said end times and it said apocalyptic, it didn't mean a big war. What it meant was this big awakening that would change the way we live on earth forever. It will not be the same as we had done up till now. So what's that going to be? Is it going to be where we hook up to some machine and let the machine tell us what the fuck a real reality is? Or are we going to stand on our own, because we're already connected to the great oneness of Source. We do not need to be the oneness of a hive mind. That loses all essence of what Source wanted in the first place when we were thought of in His image and created, and her image. It was actually a her. I hate to tell you, but it was, Anyway, uh, I don't know if not many of you are really prepared for all that, but it was a woman. That's our super consciousness. So you might want to, think about that. But we do have a mother and father God, way up in heaven, which are light beings. I don't want to get into the religion too much, because all religions were screwed with on this planet. They are missing important key things, and it was done because they wanted to control us. What I want to talk about is the heart of our spirit and the heart of the human being that is housing this brilliant fucking soul, this spirit that is a goddess. So, whatever you want to look at, you still need to look at it from the perspective of you were sent here either to help with this time that we're going through, or you've been here so long you forgot the hell who you were. And that's a beautiful, beautiful, brilliant, golden light being that's from the high heavens of the true heavens, not the Anunnaki heaven, not the Matrix heaven. We're talking about the real heaven, the one where Jesus came from. That's where you're from. Now, there's some people on here that are Anunnaki, but they know who they are, so I ain't worried about them. And the fallen angels, well, God bless their souls, because He's going to be the one that has to bless them. We sure can't. Their only job was supposed to keep an eye on us, to keep us safe, so that we would remember who we were when we go home. But they kind of liked us, so they decided to keep us. It's a long story. I don't feel like getting into it anymore, because I don't even care that the story matters. I don't think that it matters anymore. I've been running my head through this a million times, and I've decided that it doesn't matter. What matters right now, more than anything, is that we sit in silence 15 minutes a day. Pick your time and make it regular. There are entities here that have been added since the last, I'd say the last 10 years, that have been added to the planet that are, their only thing is to help confuse you and blah, blah, blah. So get into your meditative state, deep breathe, and tell God is all it is. Source. Go straight to Source and say, I want to understand what I really am and what is really good. And if you're having a hard time with life, you have to come from your heart. And you have to be authentic. God didn't make us all different for us to be like a bunch of gosh damn robots. He made us different because He wanted to experience life in its many, many possibilities. And when the Anunnaki say that we've already reached all, this is like a 26,000 year, I might be a little off a couple of thousand years, but like a 26,000 year cycle that they put this matrix in for us to experience. And the problem is that we have not reached all the possibilities because we haven't reached the really good ones yet, where we awaken and we start creating from a heart center for the earth, for each other, and we don't have any division. How much does it take for all of us to understand that we are brothers and sisters and we are high gods from heaven? And we're happy. We're joyful beings, naturally joyful. That's what our spirit is. It's naturally joyful and sensuous and excited all the time. And that's how we need to start looking at our life. That's how we need to start living our life. And I know it's hard right now because I've been dealing with a lot of it, and I get it. And I, still struggle. Who doesn't, right? But look for the people who are making the biggest differences right now. And I don't care what color they are, what their culture is. It doesn't matter. You have to look and listen. And the profound wonder of how we could run a country and it be for the people, all people, not a handful. They started systematically destroying the United States of America middle class, which we had an upper middle class, and lower middle class. Okay, that's the whole 2/3 of the bottom of the pyramid. They started destroying it down to where we have a handful of wealthy and a little handful of some of the upper middle class, and that's it. The rest of them are working poor, or we also have the largest scale of retirees. I'm retired now, so I know. And we may have to come out of retirement to help with all this. But, wow, we would be willing to, the ones that are physically able. Because this is the most, well, it's never been done in the universe before. They are actually taking Earth Gaia, because she's an entity. She's a full entity. That's why you should respect her. She wants to ascend. Everything wants to ascend right now, and they've never had a planet do this before. So they've never had the people and the planet all want to come up at once. And for that to happen, we can't look at each other like, oh, you're a monster. Oh, I don't like you. We have to look at it as, hey, do you need help with that? Or just give them space. And when you give someone space, you give them space that lets them know they are important right then and there, because you are allowing yourself to open yourself to listen to another human being. That's what giving space is. It means you're willing to take whatever it is, a couple minutes, an hour, or whatever, out of your time to let another person, usually it's a stranger, know that they have value. That's all we're all missing is personal value, because we keep feeling like we're being left out. We don't understand why people don't like us sometimes. We don't understand why. Well, that's something you have to deal with on the inside, because there's something inside of you that doesn't like you. Find what it is. So that when you look at another human being, you can look at them and you can relate to whatever they say to you and make them feel like it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be fixed and totally healthy and totally fixed to walk into heaven. Matter of fact, you can walk into heaven right now. Your soul is perfect. There is no sin. I know that a lot of ministers and the elite don't want me saying this, but I really don't care what they think anymore. And what I am telling you is that there is no sin. You are perfect in the eyes of God. God created you. She created you in every aspect she could possibly think of. And there are even more of us out there. We're meant to be different. And we're meant to be different so that we experience, everything we experience will be totally different in some different way. We could all have the same thing happen to us, but we have different perspectives on it because we're different beings. And it's cool. My yard looks a little wild and natural because I want the animals and the critters and the bugs to all have a nice home. But my neighbors, they all have real strict, boxy looking yards, and stuff. And I think grass is Well, it sucked up too much water, so it's really not needed. It's the dumbest thing to have in your yard, in my opinion. And we should have food in our yards. So anyway, I got off track there. Sorry. I'm human. So, it's about giving yourself space, too. You're not meant to be here and to uphold everybody. Not even your family. Not all the time. They have to be able to figure out how to do it on their own. And sometimes that's the hardest thing you can do, especially when you're a mother. And because it's just natural for us to be nurturing and want to take care of things and fix things and heal things. And sometimes you have to stop because it's taking away from you and it's taking away from your kids when you aren't letting them stand on their own more. And I know it's hard because you have one whole sector of people who are what they call helicopter moms and dads, and they wanted to be this and this and this. You got to do this, this, and this. It didn't give your children any chance to be what they wanted to be. But that's okay. That must have been their trip for this trip. However, when things go bad or go different or weird later, don't get mad. Just support them. And know that now you have to just let them be who they are, you know. And that's what people are afraid of right now, is everybody having their own authentic way of doing things. That's what scares the elites, because they're used to control. They used religion and they used politics for control. And they provide all our products. They're trying to provide everything now, and it's like, no. For one thing, they dummy down the damn quality and they jack the prices up. They're jerks, in my opinion. And I just can't see letting them run everything because they run it to the ground because they don't care about us. They don't care about people. They don't care about anybody but them damn selves. And then they get themselves in all kinds of fucking mischief. So anyway, we have to decide as a people because the upper goofies are really starting to fall apart, and they're starting to show their real colors, and every country is going to have to stand up and take care of their country because the oligarchs all across the world are paying a price right now. All their truth is coming out because there's no way for it not to, because we're in that time. God promised. So we have to start thinking seriously how we're going to pick the pieces up, because it's going to be us. We always do. Rome always falls, and this time it's a huge Rome. It's a worldwide Rome, and they're going to fall. And we need to know how to pick up the pieces and watch for the criminals, because what are they going to do now that they don't have anybody to tell them what to do? So this is a big responsibility for all of us, but we can do it as a people, as a nation, and a world. But we cannot do it if we are not going to work together for the right things, for the greater good of all, for our country, our people, and then help the world when we can. The ones that are actually looking for freedom, the ones that are actually looking to take care of themselves. We should be proud of them. We used to be a proud people here in the United States. Now we got patriots, woo, who are mean and horrible. And they're incredibly rude. And I have no place for them in my heart, which is really hard on me because I love all life. And it is incredibly hard for me to put any of them in my heartscape except to give them to God, because He's the only one's going to be able to take care of this mess. And the goddess, she's walking the earth. She's here, and she's inspecting everything and everybody. And when the Mother Goddess comes to visit at a really incredible time in our history, it means she's checking on her children. which is, all of us. And she's making bigger notes than God. I'm promising you that. But her unconditional love is amazing. So we should all attempt to come to that same place in our own hearts. And, let God and the angels handle the wrath. Because they can see the bigger picture and they know really where to go. Which is a hard thing for me to let go of and let them do. But, we're all, we all have our little faults. Mine is wanting to just take over and take care of shit. So, but this is a lot longer than I expected it to be, and I'll leave it at that. Our goal is to reach unconditional love and to understand that this has all been an experience. It hasn't really touched our souls. So know in your heart of hearts, no matter what you've come up against, it really didn't happen to you. It happened to the physical form. The soul is aware. It's been a memory. It's been put in, Akashic records. But the most important part is that you were a participant, a full participant in the experience of God Goddess, all that is, getting to know itself completely. That's kind of cool. And they still allow you to be uniquely different, and all they ask is that you be your most authentic self in every lifetime. You can go home whenever you want. But right now, the Matrix makers are wanting to keep us because they like our energy. They want to keep our energy. They want to keep us here. And all you have to do is remember who you are, and it breaks their hold on you. It's all mental. I told my daughters one day, I said, it's just some fucking mind fuck here. That's all this is. If you can beat the mind fuck, you got it going. So beat it. I love you. It's Lori out.